Ugh. Okay. Sorry about that, everyone. They're digging up the fiber optic and everything in town. So everything's getting weird. Yeah, so sorry for that, everyone. It's like I said, they're digging up the fiber optic, and it sucks. They've torn up the whole street, everything. So it doesn't matter which internet provider I'm using. So it really sucks. But yeah, I'll try to go back through and get everyone's last questions that I just missed. So yeah. All right, let's see. So probably lost some people. Okay. So I think the last question I probably lost everyone was Jimmy McElroy. Do you know which shop in Utah has the best boot fitting Milosport? So that would be Christie Sports because they own DFP, which is a footbed company, and it's based in Utah. I'd go there. I worked for them. They'll have the best knowledge that I know of, and I think there's location at Snowboard or Park City or something like that. Let's see. Then we got Sheldon looking to replace a clapped out flagship and looking to change it up, thinking a black snowboard to death. Any other boards to consider? Yeah. So that would be your Ride Berserker, maybe a Rosenthal Juggernaut, even though that's a twin. I would maybe look at like a Karua, like a Auto Plus, maybe a Pencil Plus, something like that. Item 9, are the 23 Union Stratus 200 powering for the Custom X? Yes. Okay. All right. Okay. We got Anthony Hawking with the super chat. $2 for the Angry Gigabyte Fiber Link crowdfunder. It doesn't matter when they're literally digging. They're laying everything right. So the fiber optic line is right here, and they're putting a new water line literally like a foot apart. And the other day, I mean, the guy dug a fucking water main out and flooded town. It was under 1.5 feet of water. So, you know, it's you can't trust these carnies around here with anything. Ooh, pick a random question for a spin. So let's get over into the new chat and figure out what's going on here. Try to take some of these new questions. All right, going live. Let's get into this here. Take this. Let's see what we got here. All right. Yeah, and I'm redoing the poll. So I know people are just coming back to this because we just lost everything. So basically, super chats get a spin of the wheel. You could win a t-shirt, answer the poll, you know, stuff like that. All right. Let's see. Okay. All right, we got one from Alex Tate. I asked about the Huck knife a few minutes ago. What other bindings would you recommend if I'm not stuck on Solomon? I would look at like a Rome Vice, maybe like a K2 lineup or a Lean AT for that board. Probably a lineup, maybe a formula. If you're doing bent metal, I would go with the Transfer or the Action for that. With Ride C6 or a C8. And you got to spin. And, you know, beware of posers in positions. All right. We got Anthony Hawking with another super chat. Over here doing it all. Support the Shred Foundation. Yeah. So let's see. Okay. We got Noodles with the super chat. Thanks for the stickers. Need more. Everyone needs more. So you can buy them on angrysnowboarderstore.com. There's a link in the description. Support the Shred Foundation. Okay. We got a question from Ole Venom. Tech question. What's the idea benefits with wings like the Moss wing pin F example to make the board more slashy on edge while maintaining stability from the tail? Well, you're looking at a Moss, which everything that they do is kind of different in there, but like that wing that comes out, it's designed for like edge contact when you're coming out of the turn because you've disengaged the front, so you're driving with more power off the tail. So it's like to give you a little added grip. It's just like a little more zing out of the turn. Okay. Noodles, do all the carbon boards that companies make last longer than the non-carbon? Sometimes, but I mean, if we're talking about them sitting in a landfill and not decomposing, then yes, they do they last longer than that. It's one of those things. But by and large, what you're getting with the carbon is lighter weight, more snap and power out of it. So if you're like one of those guys that you just powerhouse boards and you're like, oh, I'm over flexing it, it's not giving me the snap I want. That's why you get something with more carbon in there so that it actually lasts longer. Okay. Let's see. Anthony Hawking, do the construction guys get annoyed when you call them excavator carnies? They get annoyed when I tell them to fucking do their job and to fucking get some teeth. They don't have teeth. They all do meth. Sam Elms, to piggyback off the guy's question about the clapped out flagship. Would the pick your line DCP unink fit that bill? Yes, that board's actually really good. It's way better than the regular pick your line. So, okay. Michael Kulig, Averin. So, in your view, who has the most stacked team now? Nitro team is pretty stacked. The Ride team is pretty damn stacked. If you look at that, and so it's like Nitro, Ride. It kind of depends like what your definition of stacked is and what you're looking for. I mean, my money's always on Nitro. All right. Lost Logics. For someone who's not ridden a lot of different boards, what are the differences in an all-mountain freestyle board versus a freeride? Freeride board usually tends to have more setback, has a taper on it, so it's got that narrower tail so that it sinks a little bit easier. Where an all-mountain freestyle is really more of like your directional twin snowboard, and the flex patterns can kind of overlap each other, but what dictates the big difference is the amount of setback that they have. So like the freeride board will have more setback and the taper in the tail. All right, Brian Dilator. Other than Rome or Burton, what other brands make adjustable ankle straps that go higher or lower on your foot? Don't know why this isn't standard across the board. Actually, a lot of companies do. If you look at Ride, you can their stuff sits on a slide track, so you can actually move that back and forth. K2 has the 3-hole system. Flux actually has a little bit of something. I know the Nideckers, certain models do. It's like if you start looking around, you can kind of see that some companies are doing it more and some have. They just don't market it, Okay. Let's see what we got here. All right. Trey Boro 01. Hey, Averin, I'm reevaluating my quiver. I have a 21 Captain Mercury and a 2020 Orca. Am I overlapping a little bit? Do I need a true twin on my quiver? No, I mean, like realistically, you got two boards that if you don't ever get anything else, you're fine. That Mercury is your all-mountain freestyle board. It's solid. And that 2020 Orca is like your party board, your pow board. It's a fun little resort cruiser carver for early morning groomers if you absolutely have to. If anything, like you need an old school pow board that's not volume shifted. And that's only if you really want to spend the money. If you don't, fuck it. Save the cash, buy more season passes, ride more. Okay. This is a good one from Johnny F. How would you describe the main differences in terms of riding between the Ultra Flagship, Karua Pencil Plus, and Amplid Holy Grail? Looking for a carving powder board here in Switzerland. Ultra Flagship is just going to be damp right underfoot. It's more of your old school shape, kind of all mountain free ride, do everything with like just a beefier construction, so you get a little more power out of it. When you go to the Pencil Plus and the Soli Grail, that's when you're going to notice the big difference. The Soli Grail is definitely more like your resort cruiser. They can still handle POW. It's got some cool shaping to it, helps funnel the POW out, the camber profile, you get that rocker in the nose and doing that. The Pencil Plus is absolutely amazing as a carving board. It's just got that carbon feel to it. So when you really load up off the tail, it slingshots you out of the turn. Realistically, out of those three, the two that I would be choosing between would be Soli Grail and Pencil Plus. That's really the two that you need to look for that. So yeah. Okay, Sam Elms, do you think volume shift is here to stay or a fad that will fizzle out over the next 3 to 4 years? No, it's not going anywhere. That's not. The geometries have poured over into regular boards now. You're seeing stuff that's wider. You can ride it smaller. It's not going anywhere. I mean, aggressive volume shift where they're like, size down 15 centimeters? Yeah, probably. That will. But, I mean, you look at it. We're actually in the second iteration of volume shifted boards. If you go back and look at the Burton Nug and then how that failed, and then because like at one point they had like 7 nugs, right? And now they don't. And you look at where we're at now, it makes the most sense. All right, Anthony Hocking with the super chat. If you're someone who pays $700 for the 2023 model board when the identical 2022 model board is available for $400, you may be a person who snowboards. No. Shh. Those people give me commissions. Those are great. Those people are great. I love it. Someone bought $1,600 worth of Battalion stuff the other day. It was amazing. No, but I mean, realistically, if a board doesn't change in just the graphic, and you can save 40%, you really should be saving that 40% and taking that money and putting it towards riding more. I mean, that really is a difference between a snowboarder and a person who snowboards. Smash the like button, people. We got 82 people in here. I know that the last live stream kind of died. We're bringing back the new one. We're just trying to build it up. When we hit 100, I'll start talking about snowboarders versus people that snowboards. Got some stuff I want to read, some stuff like that. So we go there. Super chats, get a spin of the wheel. Regular questions, I'm going to try to answer what I can. All right. Let's see what we got here. Hawks fan, how big of a difference in stiffness is there between the bent metal transfers and the solutions? Oh, yeah, that's fucking noticeable. Those solutions are stiff. Holy shit. You notice right away the difference in that. It gets aggressive. Okay. Okay. Quan Hao, if you could take the best feature of one binding and add it to the features of a second binding, what combination would it be and what board would you ride it with? I mean, realistically, I'm probably going to do that. I'm going to order the Battalion heel straps from the Astro and the Blaster, and I'm just going to put them on my black labels. Just because I don't like the Rome Aux strap. That's why I use the foam strap on them. So I'm just going to get rid of them, get rid of that Aux strap, put the foam strap on, or put the Battalion strap. Probably. I say I'm going to do this. I probably won't. I'll be honest. I'll probably just fucking ride them until they die. But that's probably what I would do. But realistically, my favorite feature of all time on any binding is the K2 binding. The heel straps on the formulas have that hinge, so the strap opens up and it leaves the binding wide open. Fuck, when I was riding Indy formulas, so I would take all the parts off the formula and put them on the Indy because the Indy didn't have 3-degree of canting on it. That was my favorite thing, was just having that heel strap with the hinge on it. So, yeah. Ryan Hoffman, do you prefer a stiffer or softer park board for routes? I like them in the middle. Like, I ride at 154 at 200 pounds. Like, I'm a bigger dude and I work out a lot, so I've got a lot of muscle and I've been snowboarding for 25 years. So for me, I like something that's a little bit middle of the road so I can really push into it when I need to. That's not going to fold and buckle on me, like, so I don't have to worry about it. If you go too soft, I end up just over flexing all the time. And after I remember the last time that I tried to front board a DFD, I tried to gap to the down, and the board was just so soft. I clapped it out, and there happened to be a screw head sticking out of it, and I fucking just dislocated my shoulder and shit. And I was like, yeah, one, maybe I shouldn't be gapping stuff like that anymore as I get older, and two, maybe I should ride a stiffer board. Oh God, let's see. Where is that question? Lil Ussel, any splitboard reviews on there? No, fuck no. This is Angry Snowboarder, not Angry Splitboarder. All right. Johnny F with the super chat. Thanks for the explanation. I'm really intrigued by the Holy Grail. Anything bad to say about it? By the way, do you have any affiliate links for Europe? There's like one or two affiliate links in the description for it. I think it's for Snowboard Asylum. I think that's the only one that's still working currently. But I know if you click the link on the Holy Grail video for Amplid, it'll take you right to their website. And I do get a commission on that. But the only downside to the Holy Grail is just that tail shape. If you have to ride switch and just with the setback on it, it's a little negative. But I mean, if you're riding switch less than 20%, 30% of the time, you're not going to notice it. You'll be fine. Cold nights. I had to wear a beanie when I was walking the dog the other night. It was that cold. Like there's a slight chill in the air. You can feel that fall is coming to the mountains. And the Farmer's Almanac basically said, like for Colorado at least, we're in store for early fall, it looks like. And then we're supposed to get hammered March and April. So we'll see. Fruit Poop Loops, comparable bindings to the Union Atlas FC, but with better dampening. So you'd be looking at like your Nitro machine, your Ride A10, maybe the C10. I think the A10 is a little bit better. You'd be looking at like the Now O-Drive, the Jones, was that the Apollo, I think it is, to an extent. Yeah, like that. Those would be the ones that I would look at for that. All right. Okay. Let's see. All right, we got Zephyr Toker. I recently bought a Ride Warpig, and now I set my eyes on new bindings. What would you suggest to a guy who snowboards at least 40 days a season? So I thought the Union Stratas would work. Any suggestions? Stratas are a solid one for that. If you did ride, I would look at like the C6 in there. For Rome, I would probably put the Vice on that. Or you could even go to like the Battalion Astro or the Blaster, but get the ASIM versions of that. If you did Burton, you probably want the Malavita, but watch out for that little piece on the little wing that sticks out at the heel cup because it pushes into the top sheet. And the Warpig already has a delicate top sheet to begin with. Let's see. You could even do, if you bumped up from the Strata from Union, you could do the Ultra, but that might be a little overkill. But yeah, there's a bunch of options for you. All right, we got David Off Black Dynamite with the mega super chat over here. Been a while, my man. Quick question. What binding brands do you like the most for cushioning and dampening technology? I've been hitting Big Snow Park hard, and my 34-year-old knees hate me. P.S. Big Snow, Game of Snow this weekend. Get stoked. So there's two things that I would actually do because you're saying you got knee problems and you want dampening. One, you need to get a good aftermarket insole with dampening in your boot. This is why I use Reminds. You get that magic foam, that blue foam in there. This whole thing is a dampening agent inside your boot. So this will actually help cradle your ankle and keep it into a better position with your knees and hip alignment. That will help reduce fatigue in there. Then after that, if you're really looking for dampening, I think the Nitro bindings offer some of the best dampening out there just because of that heel air pod that they have. I really like that. So, if you're riding more park, you probably want the Team or the Team Pro. There's, that's what I would look at from Nitro in there. Otherwise, you could check out those new Battalion bindings like the Astro and the Blaster. They have a dual density foam pad. I've got reviews of those coming out. but that foam pad does a really good job of dampening. It's actually better than the Rome binding one, in my opinion, even though it uses the same base chassis and heel cup of the Rome binding. Those Battalion ones are better. So that should give you like 3 options to definitely go look at. And here's your spin of the wheel. Oof, cold nights again. More cold nights. Or Ian, damn, $50, biggest donation I've seen on here. Biggest donation ever was a guy that I think I pissed off, but he gave $300. I don't even think he's a fan anymore, but yeah, he gave $300 on the first Black Friday live streamathon, the late night one. He couldn't believe I'd been going for like 9 hours of live streaming, answering questions. That's the biggest one I've ever seen. Okay. Brian Alenos. Hey, Averin. I think I heard you say once that you're no longer testing, reviewing Arbor stuff. Any opinions on the upcoming Satori, though? It's not that I'm not testing them. It's just I'm having a hard time getting stuff from them. That's all. Like, I would ride it. I actually rode the Satori for about 5 laps at Loveland in February. It's an interesting ride. It's not enough that I feel it's safe for a review, but for what it was, it held okay. It had solid snap. Like, I was able to ollie over a rock field and not die with it. It kind of reminded me of like an older Wasteland combined with a Coda. It kind of fit in there. It was interesting. I wish I'd spent more time on it, to be honest with you, because it was a good board. All right. We got Bry Guy, torn between the Tellus Backslash and the K2 Excavator, East Coast rider who enjoys the trees. Can't go wrong with either of them. If you're in really tight, flatter trees, I would probably go with the Backslash. But if you're getting in anything that's a little bit steeper and you need better edge hold, that's where the Excavator comes in. That's kind of, yeah. All right. We got item 9 with the super chat. Religiously spray skiers and kids with backpacks. And fat skier kids with backpacks with speakers. Can't go wrong with that. And remember, summer tourists are the worst. Natural diversity. Ever been to the sulfur pools above Palmer on Hood? Some clips from Sam Klein were nasty. No, man, that requires work. It's a lot of work. Okay, let's see. Okay, and then we got a super chat from Johnny Scott. LibTech, Jamie Lynn 96, or Capita Super DOA. Man, those things they ride just so entirely different. So the Jamie Lynn 96, radial side cut and old school camber. No C3, no magma traction on. That is a quintessential like late 90s, early 2000s snowboard. That's how it rides. Now, the Super DOA, you've got 3D core construction in it. You got a high-end polished finish on it. It is a way snappier board. It is way more lively. The Jamie Lynn is more damp. So you're really looking at 2 boards that I don't put in the same category at all. So you got to kind of ask yourself, are you old? Do you like a damp ride? Do you just want a radial side cut and old school traditional camber? Then yeah, that's the Jamie Lynn 96. You want a highly reactive board that's like driving a Ferrari on steroids? That's where the Super DOA comes in. That's the big differences between the two. So, all right. Ooh, pick a random question and give them a spin. All right. All right. All right. I'm going to take this question from Nick Larson. I saw Capita makes a split Mercury now. Is there really a big draw to freestyle splits? It's not a freestyle split. Kevin Jones had a lot of hand in that, and he just really liked the way the Mercury rode, and he's like, we should probably split that. So it's one of those things. You got to remember that the Mercury is an all-mountain freestyle board. It's a directional twin. It makes the most sense. So that's why it exists. Lose a turn. Ouch. Okay. All right. Anyways, we got over 100 people here. So now it's time to talk snowboarders versus people that snowboard, since, the live stream shit the bed earlier. But I want to read this. So I know that this was posted by a company called Pseudocorp. It was like this little thing. I actually kind of liked what they were doing for a while, but I've watched this kid just become a fucking douche canoe. So this is what he posted. A snowboard was a toy created for kids to play in the snow on. No way in hell I'm going to be making toys when I turn 30 thinking it's cool. Seeing these old fools hold on to it makes me laugh. It's like watching the band Kiss still go on tour. This is a kid that markets his whole brand on 90s snowboard and skate culture, who's not even old enough to know what the fucking 90s were. I mean, he wasn't even dripping down his mom's leg back then, like doing that. But this is someone that wants to just make fucking money. His boards suck. He's got a couple cool shirt ideas, but other than that, he can suck a fucking fart out of my ass. Like, you want to make money off snowboarding and then say at 30 you're not going to do it, dude? What are you going to be doing at 30? You ain't done anything else. What, you going to go fucking sell skate decks like Joe from Nightmare? Like, fuck you. You're a fucking poser. Fuck. You put yourself in this position. You sponsored a few people, hooked some people up, and then you come out and say that shit? Like, I say that as a 40-year-old man. I would have said it when I was a 30-year-old man. Would have said it when I was a 20-year-old man. It's the fucking difference. But this is what we're dealing with in snowboarding. It's posers in position. They start these fucking companies, and they're just people that snowboard. They're not snowboarders. I've seen this. I'm going to start a snowboard brand because blah, whatever. My favorite is this company Nightmare that used to be up here. Nothing against the riders. Like, got a bunch of friends that ride for them. I get it. You were getting free boards. But the guy that started it, Joe Suda, fucking poser fuck. The first time I ever saw him, I was like, that guy just screams poser fuck. And his whole thing is, we're going to make snowboarding like skateboarding, and we're going to be fucking edgy, even though I rip off all my fucking graphics. Blah. And then we're going to make our own snowboards. So they made a snowboard, and I remember showing this to Kevin, and I was like, yo, because he had worked for Signal at the time. The edge seam, they had 9 spots where the edge didn't match up, where they just like clipped it all the way around. So that means they kept clipping the edge and going, oh, it's too short, it's too short, it's too short. Like, what the fuck? You're making a shitty ass fucking product. And then when they decided to have their boards made at GP87, great factory, not knocking GP87 at all, they didn't pay the bill. So you want to know where their boards fucking ended up? This is the funniest shit on earth. GP87 wouldn't send it to them, so they sold them on clearance to some rental shop down in Argentina or Chile, so that they were just like, so they could make their money back on it. But this guy, was just a whiny little bitch that would surround himself with real snowboarders to give himself credit, but he wasn't a snowboarder. He was just a person that snowboards. And there's nothing wrong with being a person that snowboards. You enjoy going snowboarding. You enjoy going out riding. You have your friends. You do your vacation. You probably buy an Epic Pass and come to Breckenridge and love standing in line for 3 hours. There's nothing fucking wrong with that. But a snowboarder, it's so much more. And I wish people would understand that. It's like, I got into it with like some fucking little pickle dick kid this week too. This was funny, but the conversation, I was picking on Gilson and like Dope Snow and shit. And he's like, you're toxic. And I was like, you're a whiny little bitch. Where is he? I fucking blocked his ass. Where is he? Maybe it won't show up. I don't know. Anyways, also, if you talk shit to me, I will post your stuff on Instagram picking you out. So it's super funny. Where is this little turd nugget? This kid needs a safe space. Oh, yeah, here it is. So the first time he ever reached out to me, I had shit on Gilson. He's like, this is funny. I own a Gilson, but I love the hate. It took them 3 months to ship my board, but unfortunately, I do like to ride it. I was like, should have bought a real snowboard, not some gimmicky crap. He's like, and then, all right. My favorite was when he told me that he rides on the flat, steep East Coast. Flat, steep? I was like, flat, steep? That seems like an oxymoron. It means we have no powder, all packed powder. You mean you ride a fucking groomer, dude? So anyways, I was picking on the backpack speakers. He's like, at first you were funny, but all you do is cry like an old-time skier. You're the 26-year-old dude trashed on PBR hitting on the 18-year-olds because they're illegal. I was like, is someone butthurt? It's okay, big guy. We get it. You like your backpack speaker. No one's forcing you to be here. No, I just unpolluted you and decided to tell you that you kind of suck. And I was like, bah, Felicia. That is someone right there that if they defend a backpack speaker, they're a fucking person that snowboards. They're not a snowboarder. Like, they don't understand the culture. I mean, then again, he rides a fucking Gilson on the flat steeps of the East Coast. What the fuck is a flat steep? This is a kid. He's a fucking soy boy. He probably got a participation trophy and cried that it was the wrong color, so they had to give him a fucking Stanley Cup mock trophy to make him fucking happy. But the big thing, like, between snowboarders and people that snowboard, like, I have no problem with people that snowboard, and people that snowboard can become snowboarders, and snowboarders can turn into people that snowboard. I've kind of come to the conclusion as I get older, I will eventually retire from the snowboard industry, and I will just become a person that snowboards. I will enjoy it, and I will ride, but I will not give a shit about the direction that it's going in or care, because I'll be like 90 fucking years old when it happens. I'll probably be shitting myself in diapers and have dementia. Actually, that might be me at age 46. I don't know. Either way, I've had 23 concussions. But the big thing is, like, a snowboarder understands whether they go 1 day a year or 100 days a year, that snowboarding is more than a sport. It's a lifestyle. It's a culture. There's a culture in it, and that they should try to leave it better than where they found it. A person that snowboards, and a great example of this is Jonathan Bucka, someone that can take everything they can from it, milk it, doesn't give a fuck about it or anything, and doesn't care about making it better, and will leave it when they can't make anything more from it. You know, culturally, you should, as a snowboarder, care. But there's nothing wrong with, like, I answer your guys' questions, and I get people that are like, hey, I buy a board every 5 years. I go 10 days a year. That's fucking awesome, dude. I hope you enjoy it those 10 days a year. Like, I hope you get it. I hope you're not doing kooky shit with, like, a backpack speaker. You're buying a Gilson. You ride those Clue bindings. You're fucking laying down in the knuckles of jumps, shit like that. I don't give a fuck. Like, but don't do that kooky shit, you know? I hope you're out there smashing pow, fucking spraying skiers and having fun. But when you get into the cultural aspect of snowboarding, it's like more realizing that, you know, there was a time where people were like the pros, and Jeremy Jones, Gibber, not Big Mountain, got to clarify that, did his Airtime podcast with Jody, and he said, he's like, you know, for a couple of years I was struggling with my identity, and I was like, I've always been a snowboarder, and that's what it is. There was this weird time where it wasn't cool to be a snowboarder. Who cares if you're fucking cool to people that aren't snowboarders? Like, be cool to snowboarders. Like, I mean, that's what's fucking rad, right? So be super fucking rad to that. Be that person that really truthfully cares about snowboarding, the direction it's going in, and what you can do. Like today, some of you guys know who Tommy Bennett is, Tommy B on Instagram, and here. He had labrum surgery on his right hip. So he's laid up. He's not going to be able to snowboard for like 7 months. So I hit him up to see how he's doing. You know, he lives over in Silverthorne. And I was like, hey, how you doing? You good? You need anything? I took him a fucking lasagna today. A salad, some garlic bread, made it from scratch. And it was just like, hey, man, you know, eat this. Help yourself. If you need anything else, let me know. Shit like that. Like, that's the community side of things that people don't see. And, you know, I used to shit on him. I don't deny that, but, you know, I got to talking with him this winter and kind of figured out some stuff. And he was telling me when he was working with Bucka, so like what the deal was he saw how kooky this kid was, but he's like, you know, I think I could like show him the culture and help him. And then that kid just kept doubling down on the fucking kooky shit and tripling and quadrupling down. That kid just embraces everything that is not snowboarding. Like, if you ask him who his favorite snowboarder is, it's Shaun White. That should be your mom's favorite snowboarder. If you're a real snowboarder, you should have someone that is either the pinnacle of a true snowboarder. Like, for me, my all-time favorite snowboarder is Kevin Jones. It will always be Kevin Jones. But there's always been guys in different decades and segments of snowboarding where I've really valued like what their riding brings to the table and what they're doing and stuff. And it's understanding and investing in that culture. And when you really look into it and you start to figure it out and stuff, and, you know, you can be a snowboarder and support the corporate companies like K2 Ride, stuff like that, Nidecker. And you can also be a snowboarder that only likes core companies and doesn't like the corporate companies. But what you have to do is look at the people that run those corporate companies and what they're doing to give back to snowboarding currently. Like, I just, you know, the last live stream today that I did before we shit the bed, I shit on Burton because I don't like the direction that they're going in. It's not healthy for snowboarding. It's not conducive, and it's to serve their bottom line. But then you go over and you look at like K2. Yes, they have shareholders and they do this, but you look at K2 Ride. They hired JG from Burton. He's going to bring in some awesome shapes. You look at their pro team that they have. They gave Pat Moore a contract. What did Pat Moore do all last year? Nothing. His wife was pregnant, stuff like that. I mean, he's in the twilight of his career, and Pat Moore is a super sick fucking rider, but they gave him that contract. when no one else would. I mean, he was kind of free floating with no board sponsor for 3 seasons before he got on K2. Or you look at Sage with them on K2 and how he didn't have anything after the Olympics, you know, and no one did it. And now he's on K2. Or you look at Arbor with Brian Noguchi being on the team. Telos has Mike Rankwit. He is the oldest pro snowboarder with the most pro models ever because he gets one in every decade, you know. So you look at that. Jamie Lynn is still on LibTech. That's what culture is, and that's what snowboarders are. Those guys, they might not ride a lot. I mean, Mike has to fly in from Hawaii to ride. Jamie Lynn is doing a lot more artwork, but he's up at Baldface, you know. Brian's up in friggin' Jackson, splitboarding, riding, and teaching that generation, or he taught Travis Rice's generation and not the generation underneath. That's what being a snowboarder is. It's showing the history of snowboarding, which the history of snowboarding is fucked. There's a lot of people that got swept up and missed and forgotten in there, but you show it to the next generation and you kind of explain things and you let them guide their generation. Like the current generation that's killing it in rails and stuff, like I have nothing in common with a 23-year-old kid. Like let's be real. That's a 17-year age gap. But yesterday I went to lunch with my old intern Travis, who's 23 now. I inherited Travis at the age of 11 at Woodward. I don't know where he came from, but he somehow ended up in the employee van. And then from there on, we kind of just had him for the rest of, you know, his middle school and high school career. But I've helped guide that kid. And, you know, he's a rep for Jones Snowboards now. And, you know, we're sitting there and we were talking snowboard and he just looks at me and he goes, dude, I just want to thank you because I wouldn't be sitting here right now getting to snowboard as much as I do, getting to talk to shops, getting to do all this cool stuff if it wasn't for you. And, you know, through my guidance of him, I helped guide him out of high school and I helped introduce him to different reps. And he was like being the little tech kid at the demos. And then he went to CMC and Steamboat. And I called my friend Bernie at Powder Tools. And I was like, hey, Bernie, you need to hire this kid. I know you don't hire anyone under the age of 21. I don't know what I can do to persuade you to do this. And then like all these reps were like, Bernie, hire him. And he's like, I don't do this. He hired him. That kid was such a good employee that Bernie was giving him recommendations. And now he's working for Jones. And it's cool to see that in there. And he's at a position now where he's looking at younger kids and he's like, hey, should I talk to this kid? And I'm like, use your best judgment, man. You got to guide the next generation. I'm only here to answer your questions. Once you find them and then they come over and I'm fucking Grandpa Averin, I'll talk to them. And that's the whole thing. Like when you're a snowboarder, you know you're a snowboarder, whether you ride 1 day or 100 days a year. It's who you are. You can sit down and you can talk snowboarding to people that snowboard and snowboarders. And there's a distinction between it. Like you can sum up how you're going to talk to them. Like my neighbor is a great dude, snowboards 100 plus days a year. He's a person that snowboards, but he will ask me gear questions because he knows that I know my stuff. Doesn't ask me anything about the culture because he doesn't care to. He just enjoys going snowboarding. I fucking respect that, man. That's great. Like that's cool, you know, but snowboarding needs to be guided by snowboarders. For a while, it was office types working that were people that had been snowboarders when they were kids and teenagers and in college. And then they went and did corpo land and their souls got sucked out of them. And they come in and they just look at everything from that corporate aspect. And they're just doing like some weird stuff. But snowboarding always finds itself. It's always cyclical. It happens. You just ride it out. When I see people that are like, I'm quitting snowboarding. I'm quitting the snowboard industry. And I was like, you know, I'm over this. I'm over that. I'm doing all this stuff. I'm like, man, you just turned into a person that snowboards. Just like that. Hope you come back. Support you when you do. But right now, maybe I got to let you go off and find your thing. And maybe you return, maybe don't. But that's like the big difference between snowboarders and people that snowboard. There's nothing wrong with being each, but know your lane and know when you're going to merge into the other lane and pay attention. Like if you're going to be a person that snowboards, that's going to become a snowboarder, bring something to the fucking table. And I'm not talking that kooky clue binding bullshit, dope snow, backpack speakers, fucking all the stupid, horrible ideas I've seen over the years. I'm talking like show up and bring something to the table. It's funny. Like I used to have this roommate back in the day, Brian. I met him at Woodward. He'd come out to snowboard camp and I was working there maybe that was the year I sponsored it. I can't remember if I was working or if I sponsored the adult session, but came out and he's like, I want to move to Breck. I'm a person that snowboards. I want to be a snowboarder like you. So he shows up and he was acting a fool a little bit. And I was like, yo, man, I get it. You miss New York City. You miss the hood. You miss like, Jamaican beef patties. I get it. We don't have any good Jamaican food here, and stuff like that. And we were talking about it. And I was like, if you want that, you got to bring that. But you got to do it in a way that doesn't scare us, in a way that isn't trying to force change on us, that naturally does it. So he was like thinking about it. And he's done a lot. He's come a long way. And, for a while he was a snowboarder and now he's having a kid. And he's like, I'm a person that snowboards. I get out about 50 days a year, but he's like, my 3-year-old daughter, she's going to be a snowboarder. I'm going to make her. And she's like, daddy. She's always running around like, when Uncle Avery come in, shit like that. And she's going to be a snowboarder and he's going to make that next generation. And that's the thing. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. And we all go through different phases, but who we were at 15 versus who we are at 40, you can be two different people. Like, I have a lot of my guys that I grew up with, my best friends, we were diehard snowboarders until we all turned like 21 to 25. And a lot of guys got corporate jobs. They got kids and stuff. They disappeared for a while. Now they're in their mid 30s and they're like, yo, I'm ready to be like a snowboarder again. I'm like, cool. Welcome back, man. And they're like watching the videos. They're supporting the culture. They're listening to Bomb Hold. And they're like, dude, this is fucking rad. I'm like, I'm stoked. And I was like, that's cool. And I've got friends that are just like, dude, I just want to come out for the guys trip and ride 5 days with my friends that I grew up with for nostalgia. And that's cool too. There's nothing wrong with that either way. And they know their lane. And that's the big thing, is so many people don't want to look at themselves in the mirror and go, these are my lanes. This is where I need to be. I'm not going to lie. I think from 21 to 23, I was a person that snowboards. I'd ruptured my spleen going through a bunch of shit psychologically and stuff. And I was just like not in love with it and kind of went and did some jobs that sucked and was like, oh, fuck this. I'm going back to snowboarding. That was it, man. Like nothing wrong with that. So anyways, let's take some questions. I probably scared a few people. Oh, well. Okay. Yeah. This is a good one. Marley, I've been riding cartelled since 05. Why would I change now? Probably because you're riding a binding that's 17 years old. That shit's going to blow up and kill you. All right. Stuff I find interesting. Fluck Buckhouse. Yeah, fuck Buckhouse. You know what's up. All right. Cold Nights. Okay. Robert Hill with the super chat. I can't decide on an all mountain board. Looking for something stable and damp, but also good for side hits, trees. Stuck between a few boards. I'm stressing out. Tell me what to buy. I wouldn't stress out, man. You just want an all mountain freestyle board. It sounds like something stable and damp. Here's what I'd look at. You got your LibTech TRS, maybe a LibTech Dynamo. Those are going to be damp. Even the new Chris Rassman is really solid. Look at those. That's going to be damp. You want something else that's not your cup of tea, still damp? All right. Go check out a ride algorithm. It's got a lot of carbonates. It's going to be reactive. If you're worried about that, you go down to the ride Shadow Band. Jones Mountain Twin, that's another one that's going to be damp. If you're looking at Yes, that would be the Typo. That's going to be solid too. Rosinol, you can go with the 1 mag. It's got the urethane in the core to help dampen it. If you're doing Capita, you want something that's going to be a little more damp. You're looking at like the Mercury over the Megamerc. The Megamerc's going to just have a little more reactivity to it. But those are all good boards. So, you're good there. All right. Sam Helms, what's the deal with United Shapes these days? Good question. I don't fucking know. Anyone that says Gilson is a gift from God gets put in timeout. Okay. All right. All right, Tim Hunt. I can't wait to ride my K2 Excavator 154 once all this rain goes away. Pretty much was the best season in 10 years up to Monday. 500 millimeters of rain in the mountains. Oh, we got 3 inches on Friday of rain in 2 hours. Like, friggin' insane. What is my dog doing? She's making movement out there. I think she's killing flies. Okay. Let's see what else we got. Okay, we got the dude. The Rad Berserker side cut is crazy interesting. 5.7, 8.2, 5.2, and aggressive reviews. Is the smokescreen the middleman between the commissioner and the Berserker? Torn here, bro. Smokescreen most versatile. It's a little different ride on the smokescreen. It's a more approachable side cut than the Berserker, but like, don't get hung up on the fucking numbers. Like, if you're an aggressive rider, you'll be fine on the Berserker. Like, it's a good board. You don't have to be on top of it like all the time, only like 90% of the time. The smoke screen's just a little more approachable. All right, we got, oh wait, we got to give you a spin. Summer tourists are the worst. Thank God it's almost over. Fucking dealing with stupidity. Today, right before this, I was walking my dog. Watched a guy driving up the one-way, stop and try to three-point turn, and I'm just pointing at the one-way sign, and he's like, whoa, what? And I'm like, it's a fucking one-way, dude. What are you going to do? Drive into oncoming traffic, you dumb shit? Oh, I didn't even think about that. And I was like, yeah, because you're a fucking dumb tourist. You fucking moron. All right. Joshua Taliaferro. I wish I saw all your online links before buying my gear earlier this week. Hope you're doing well, man. I'm alive. I'm here. I'm entertaining. I'm a monkey dancing in a box. Yeah, for anyone that doesn't know, I've got affiliate links in the bottom of every video in the description. So if you're like watching a review, you want to buy it, you can just click the description. There's a link usually right to it. Take it to Evo or Christie Sports or one of those stores, something like that. You'll be able to buy it. I get a commission off of it. If you don't, I don't care. It's cool either way. But I try to make it a little bit easier for you guys. All right, we're going to end this poll too. What do we got there? Ooh, pray to the altar of snowboarding. All right. We're going to end this poll and see where we end up with that. All right, the poll results. Out of 148 votes, 71% of you are snowboarders. 24% of you are a person that snowboards. And for some reason, we have 4% skiers. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. Okay. Tim Hunt, thoughts on the 2023 K2 After Black for all mountain riding and a good carve to the park? Worth considering. It's not the best on edge. It's like okay. I mean, for all mountain riding, it's like good. It's like consistent. I should say, it shouldn't say it's good. It's just consistent. Like, you know what you're going to get. But when it comes to carving, like K2 makes so many better boards for carving. Like even the Manifest is better, but the Passport, the Alchemist, they're all better. Even the Antidote, you know. I mean, if you're looking for something that's good for all mountain and a good carve to the park, that's where, like, I think the Captain Mega Mercury, the Jones Ultra Mountain Twin kind of sticks out. The Yes Greats is better than that. There's just like so many better boards. It's like the Afterblack kind of, half the time I forget it even fucking exists. So that should tell you how I feel about it. Oof, more summer tourists are the worst. Okay, let's see what else we got here. We got Johnny Scott. I'm old, like Ferraris. I'm confused, but thank you. It's okay. I'm confused too, but that's mainly because I have brain damage. And beware of posers in positions. All right. Let's see. Johnny F. So one last question about the Amplit Sully Grail. What are the disadvantages or advantages comparing it to the Safari? It's stiffer. It's like got a different flex than the Safari. Safari is a little more approachable. Basically, you can charge a little harder on the Sully Grail. If that's not your thing, then that's a disadvantage. And then the Safari kind of comes in there. So you're good. Garth Pierce. Hi, Averin. Have you ever been to the Alps? If so, how does it compare to Colorado Chaser? No, I haven't. All right. Marc-Andre Williams. Best way to maintain boards during the summer storing. Take your bindings off, wipe down all the inserts, wipe the bottom of the bindings, wipe the board down. That's it. Put it in a nice, normal, dry place, not too hot, not too cold, not damp, and you're going to be good to go. Fruit Poop Loops with the super chat. Remember, smoke your vegan vape juice. Ugh. All right. Tyler H. I've been riding a Solomon Dancehall and some Union Contact Pro bindings. Want to try something different this season. What should I try to demo? Everything. Everything. Get off those Contact Pros. Like, it's a really lively binding where you feel everything. Get something that doesn't have as much play in it, so you get a little more power, and then get something that's not volume shifted, and you're going to see a big difference. So, all right, we got Caden Martz looking for a pow board mid flex that can do lots of pow butters, natural features, side hits, etc. I was set on the regular Ravine, but the Jones Mind Expander looks really good too. Thoughts? The regular Mind Expander is a little harder to butter on than the regular Ravine. You'd be better off going with that regular Ravine if that's what you're looking for. For like what you're describing, they overlap, but I would push you towards the Ravine over the Mind Expander. Okay. Fruit Poop Loops, do you think indoor resort's going to be the future? Must be hella expensive to run. Yeah, well, the company that owns the Snow Dome in New Jersey, the mall in the mall, I guess they defaulted on like a $25 million payment, and they've got another one coming up. So, yeah, I don't know how that's going to last, but I do think it is the future. I know that they're supposed to be putting one in Virginia or something, and I know Colorado talked about getting one down outside like Broomfield, I think, or something like that. After riding one, I see the advantages of it. I think it's a really cool concept, and knowing that the Euros have it and stuff, like if I lived somewhere that had that, I'd be like stoked, because every week in the off season, I could be like, fuck it, I'm just gonna go down, go ride for 2 hours, do it. I'd probably make a bunch of friends that are the same age as me, and I'd be like, yo, it'd be like 40-year-old beer league snowboarding. It'd be awesome. Ugh. Okay. All right. Okay. Item 9. All right. Last question that I got, Averin. Got a trip to Fairbanks, Alaska planned out in February. Oh, God. Isn't that like the coldest time of the year up there? Outerwear recommendations I should be looking at. You need a puffy, dude. Like something that's like 800-gram polyfill. So, you really need something that's going to be warm, something that's multi-layered and whatnot. That's what you're going to ideally really want for that. All right. Okay. Nick Alvarez, how do you like the ride bench warmer for park performance? Looking to get on some big ass jumps, 30 plus feet, and really step up my rail game at King Vale Park this winter. So for a jump board, it's absolutely phenomenal. For a jib board, it's just stiffer, so you end up having to put more work into it. But if you're really concentrating on jumps, I don't think you could go wrong with that board. Like solid snap, it's good in a landing, it's stable, it's a little bit wider. You're good. So yeah. All right. All right. Michael Wong. Any recommendations for a board that's good for deep jip hop but decent on groomers? So, yeah, you got options. So, like the Rosnell XV comes to mind. You could do The Moss Swallow, that's another one that'll still be able to turn. The Jones Storm Wolf, that's super, super solid. You could even go, if you want something a little softer flexing, like your Rome Ravine, your Jones Mind Expander, a Rosinal Sashimi. You could do like a Telos Lumerian. Um, yeah, I think it's the Lumerian. Or the hell's the other? The Caldera. Stuff like that. Like, they're all pretty good. If you're looking at Ride, the Mountain Pig would be good because you could get that split tail on it. So you got some super recommendations right there. Ricky F, favorite butter, Kerrygold. It's the only butter I use when I'm cooking. What do we got? Oh, small sticker pack. Look at you, Ricky. All you got to do is email me info@Angry Snowboarder with your mailing address, and I'll get that in the mail to you. All right, Fruit Poop Loops. What would you test out products in the Snow Dome if they made one in color? Fuck yeah, it'd make my life so much fucking easier. I could save all the park boards that I have to like kill myself to ride in the spring and spread them out over the summer. Holy shit, that would make my life so much easier. Eugene Bang, do you train on trampoline? No, trampolines fuck me up. All right. Justin Couture, Avon, my guy. I should have specified 155 pounds on the East Coast. I need a soft camber board for some side hits and medium jumps. I'm a solid rider that's been losing some edge on the Evil Twin. Yeah, you just need like a middle of the road. Not super, super soft, but softer. Like, all right, that's pretty friggin' easy. I mean, if you just looking, you're coming from an Evil Twin, but you want something soft, I'd go check out like the Rome Artifact or the Artifact Select Pro Plus, whatever they call it. It's just got the beefier version's got more carbon in it, so it gets a little more snap. Otherwise, like a Signal Park Pro would be really good, or just even the Signal Park. Probably the Signal Park you'd be fine with, realistically. In there, because you're on the East Coast, check out the Rosinal Jigsaw too. So it's mostly camber. If that's not your cup of tea, check out the Retox from them. That's full camber. You could probably get away with like, no, actually, never mind. Well, maybe a GNU Money would work for you. They changed the camber profile on that, but nah, maybe not. Let's see what else. Ride Kink should be another one. Maybe the K2 World Peace, or even bump up to the medium. So that should give you more than a few options. All right, our boy Adam Jones coming in from Silverthorne, Colorado. Did you get to put feet on the Yes Standard in ink? The specs read like the old Ghost. It doesn't ride like the old Ghost. It rides better, in my opinion. It's a little more lively. That board's super solid, though. I like the traditional camber feel of it. It's one of my underhyped gems for this year. That board grips well for you and your type of riding, because I know you. I've ridden with you. I think that's the board you should probably be looking at. Joshua Taliaferro is the Capita Indoor Survival, like a solid start board. It's a little bit much. All right. Joseph Shanks with the super chat. Second board to complement park board, Pacific Northwest, size 8, 140 pounds, looking for pow, nimble in trees, no planks, freestyle feel. Thinking the Jones Stratus, other thoughts? Yeah, so Jones Stratus, Rome Ravine. Let's see. Trying to think what else. Maybe like a Rosinal Resurgence would be another one that you could do in there, just because the tip shape is really good for pushing plow. It's just like got this super abrupt kick to it. You could probably even go to something that's volume shifted, get away with like a Ride War Pig because you're small enough in there. Maybe even a Super Pig if you wanted something a little more directional in there. I would also check out a Karua Transition Finder. So there's I would do it. Those are kind of the options for you. So Anyways, let's give you a spin. Ooh, yeah. Beware of posers in positions. All right. Anthony Hawking, when does all the 2023 stuff go online? Everyone's websites are busted at the minute. I think like Evo's taken pre-orders, but they haven't made it like active in their SEO. So like you have to know what you're searching for to find it. Some of the shops here have started getting stuff. I've seen it. We're realistically like 2 to 4 weeks before it really starts to trickle in. David Off Black Dynamite, what do trams do to you? Knees? No, it's not my knees. I land on my fucking head all the time. Ugh. Fruit Poop Loops with a super chat. R.I.P. Slim Whitman. May he rest in peace. It's been an interesting summer without Slimothy lurking around. He's probably high on vegan vape juice. Murdoch, when's the outerwear pants video coming? I got to edit the last pair of pants, which is the Amazon Essentials, and the outro to it. Go through, color correct, audio, put little pop-ups with like notes and stuff, and titles, and then figure out what music I'm going to use for it. And that video should be like just under an hour long. It's going to be fucking brutal. All right, Chris Yee, would there be a noticeable difference between my Dinosaurs Will Die Bogart 152 2021 versus a Rome Party Mod 50? Oh, fuck yeah, there's going to be way more snap out of that Party Mod. Oh, we got a spam bot in here. Let's see what we can do with that. Where'd that go? Hide user on channel. Goodbye, whore. All right, let's see. Okay. Aaron Barella, did he drive his Miata off a cliff? Who knows what Slim did with his Miata? All right. Kenji Yamamoto, I'm down from last season, 220 pounds to 185. Damn, dude, that's a nice drop. Good for you. We've got a K2 Cool Bean 149, Tellus DST 158, Gentum Big Fish, GNU Spam 57. Should I be worried about the size next season? No park. Head back surgery. No, just go ride what you know. Just understand like that DST may feel a little stiffer, and then the Spam will probably feel just right in the Cool Bean. You're whatever. That might feel just long just because of the size of the 49. Never ridden the Big Fish, so I can't really comment on that. Nick Alvarez, thoughts on changing up regular versus Goofy and changing it to Mickey versus Goofy? First off, it's regular and superior foot. Right foot forward is superior. Everything else is inferior. That's all you need to know. All right, Murdoch, can I bug you one more time about the K2 ray gun? No, because you want me to fucking hold your hand every goddamn week. Either fucking buy it and shit and get off the pot, or fuck off. All right. Okay, Joshua Talaferro, who would you recommend if I wanted to learn more about tricks and riding? Tommy B, Neve from Snowboard Addiction would really be like the two that I would look at. So, yeah, anyways. Okay. No one's going to fucking hold my goddamn hand. It's very clammy. Very, very clammy. Anyways. All right. So I think we're going to wind this down, you know, even though we had to do like 2 different live streams to get through this week. But whatever. Kind of talked about what we needed to talk about. Got 105 of you, so I'm gonna call it a day. I gotta go cook a lasagna, and I gotta go take my dog out and play. She's going fucking insane out there. I can hear her. She's like chasing flies or something. I don't know. So, anyways, but yeah, that's what we got going on. So, anyways, if you're new here, remember to subscribe, click the bell, get those notifications. That way, you're not missing any of the videos we got coming out. You want to support us, do something different, swing on over to Angry Snowboarder VIPA. Got a video over there that explains it. I'm about to redo that. Plus, you get access to the reviews in written form early. And yeah, reviewed tomorrow, and then you get an explained video on Monday, plus a new top 5 on Wednesday, and I'll be back live streaming on Thursday. So I'll see you guys in another video.